began in the United States. The Constitution gave the federal government more power. So we're going to watch a brain pop video about the Constitution.
Dear Tim and Moby, I need to know what's in the U.S. Constitution. From Jake. The Constitution is America's plan for government. It lays out how the U.S. government works and how we all fit into it. The framers of the U.S. Constitution tried to create a flexible way to govern that would take the country into the future. The Constitution is based on 7 principles: popular sovereignty, republicanism, federalism, separation of powers, limited government, checks and balances, and individual rights. Yeah, I'll explain them. Popular sovereignty means that the people rule. Well, it's not like direct rule, like I can't do whatever I want or create a law, but we, the people, elect representatives who make the laws. That's one of the principles of republicanism. Democrats. Oh, no, it just means that the United States is a republic. The people exercise their power by voting for political representatives. Federalism is a way of governing that shares power between the individual states and the nation as a whole. The Constitution gives delegated powers to the nation and sets aside reserved powers to the states. For example, the federal government has the power to print money and declare war. No state can do those things on its own. And individual states have powers to establish schools and make new marriage laws. There are also some powers that both the nation and the states share, like levying taxes. These are called concurrent powers. Of course, neither the state nor federal governments are allowed to enact laws that violate the Constitution. Articles 1, 2, and 3 of the Constitution split up the government's powers between the executive, legislative, and judicial branches. The separation of powers ensures that no one branch of government will have too much power. The legislative branch, which includes our representatives in Congress, makes the laws. The executive branch, which includes the president, enforces the laws. And the judicial branch, which includes the court system, is in charge of interpreting the laws. A system of checks and balances makes sure that the branches of government work together in a way that makes sense. Congress passes a law, but the president can veto it. Even if the president says okay, the Supreme Court might come in and say that that particular law violates a principle of the Constitution. So, no one branch of government can do a whole lot without the okay of the other 2. The idea of limited government is intimately linked to the other principles. In a limited government, the government only has the powers granted to it by the Constitution, and nothing more. If it tries to grab new powers, it's acting unconstitutionally. The framers limited the power of the federal government through the separation of powers and the system of checks and balances. They also limited it by granting all citizens individual rights that the government can't take away. These are outlined in the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. They include freedom of speech, the right to a jury trial, freedom of assembly, and protection against unfair searches. Well, that's the thing about the Constitution. Amendments can be proposed to it, and if they pass a very rigorous approval process, they can become part of the Constitution itself. The U.S. Constitution is a living, evolving document that can change with the times while still holding to the principles upon which the United States was founded. Whoa. You've written your own Constitution? I think you're missing the point.
Alright guys, so we're going to go back to the Constitution song, A More Perfect Union. You have the words because we did that yesterday, and you filled in the blank spaces with the vocabulary as well. So we're going to go through it, try to sing the song, and after the song we're going to talk about what actually happened. You're going to discuss what happened at the Constitutional Convention and how the Constitution frames out our lives, how it makes how we live and how we have to operate in the United States. You're going to discuss that with your group. So here is A More Perfect Union, the purpose of government. Can I sing this? Can I sing?
John Locke, representing the Enlightenment.
Scan the room.
I got it on lock. Who wrote the Declaration of Independence? Thomas Jefferson.
James Madison, father of the Constitution.
I've been thinking what the theories about the government. Got the Enlightenment on lock because I'm running it. You wanna be Beyonce? Change the clothes. I wrote down thoughts and I changed the code. Like, we're born with inalienable rights. That we form governments to make the people act nice. You could ask my straight show me honesty. When we set up government, this is what we don't do. The powers of the state should be separate. In case the king is a jerk and not a gentleman. Plus I wrote about religious tolerance. It says the state shouldn't dictate religion or abolish it. I advocate revolution like trade. When the state gets too powerful and too paid, your whole country owes me a debt. The name's John Locke, don't forget.
Hey yo, I'm ill with the 12 skills, I'm Thomas Jefferson. Every line I wrote probably hit you like some medicine. British Parliament, they won't even let us in. I've got a bright idea like Thomas Edison. We'll govern ourselves, tell the English peace. Founding fathers agreed and called upon me to write a declaration that we should be free. What should I put in it? Well, let's see. Inspiration came from the Enlightenment, so I use those ideas when I'm writing it. We're born with certain natural rights, the pursuit of happiness, liberty, and life. These rights are given to us by the states. We form governments just to keep them safe. And when the government's not tolerant, it's our right to rebel and abolish it.
Check the status, son. I'm James Madison. I'm at the White House. You saying at the Radisson. I'm the father of the Constitution. I drafted it, and it wasn't an accident. The question for me, should America be sovereign states joined sort of loosely? The Articles of Confederation were weak. We need a government that's more like Bruce Lee, strong. Cause if it can't raise cash, who's gonna respect a government like that? A federal government will pass laws for the nation, so we need bodies to write the legislation, and we need justice. Federal courts, a president to lead, he will be the voice, we'll be taxing. To pay for the action, we'll have a standing army, no relaxing, let's go!
Alright, what you're going to do at your tables, you're going to have a discussion about what actually happened at the Constitutional Convention. You're going to talk about why is the Constitution important? How does it frame out our daily lives? How does it tell us what we have to do or what we have to live by? I'm going to pass out some guide words, which are the definitions to the words that were missing from the song. You must use some of those words in your discussions. We want to produce and create new vocabulary that you can use. Some of these words are really long. Some of them you've never heard. So I'm providing you with the definition so that you can use those in your discussions, okay?
We did not want to tax ourselves to death, because if we did, then we would be like Britain, and then like Britain like tax their people to death, and we did not want to be like them, but we found out a way how to get taxes without taxing them to death.
Chloe, how does the Constitution govern your life? How? What do you mean it lets you talk every day? Because of the Bill of Rights and what?
I was born with the right to talk from the Bill of Rights.
Okay.
We will now be discussing the Constitutional Convention. Ronell will start.
Today I will be talking about our president. Our president is the leader of our country and the leader of the executive branch. Our second and third president, and Benjamin Franklin, wrote the Declaration of Independence. A declaration is something that is announced, avowed, or proclaimed.
Thank you, Ronell. We will now be letting Kenny Benjamin speak his business.
Today we are going to be talking about the Army. The Army protects us in our state and country. It even protects the illegal rights.
Thank you, Kenny. If I may ask a question, what else does our Does our army defend?
It defends us.
We will now let Deja speak her business.
I'm talking about the Article of Confederation. It is weak. And they have to separate the branches.
Thank you. We will now recognize Deja on the stand. Please state your business.
I'm going to talk about the legislation. The legislation is the laws made by Congress, and Congress makes the laws. I will also be talking about the alignment. John Locke and Thomas Jefferson made the Constitutional Convention from the Enlightenment.